Hey everyone, and welcome to RezoCast, episode 166. This is Lego, and I've got with me a sinus infection. I am sick. I don't know what's going on, but I've got with me Hove and Wilson here this week to talk about. We got Devil's Ruin quest, which I'm curious what you guys thought about, and the community certainly thought a lot about it. And then also we got the Dawning coming to an end. We had a lot of Destiny bans go on this week, which I also kind of want to talk about. But Hove, let's start it off. How was your week, man? Well, before we get to that, because you might have thought of it already, Hove.
I haven't thought of anything.
No, you have, because you would have interrupted me like halfway through and been like, Lego, aren't you forgetting something? And yes, I was forgetting something. I was forgetting to tell you, if you're new to the channel, if you're new to the podcast, want to let you know, we're a Destiny related podcast. We talk about Destiny things. We also talk about other games, but we're out of the clan team Resolute. And yeah, we just like to hang out and see what's going on in the Destiny community. And, but let's start with Hove. How's your week, man?
Dumb. I just want to say, to add on to what you said, I've been saying for like 6 months we should have like an About Us episode, since we haven't had one in 170 or so weeks. And it would have been really good to have it like New Year. Let's learn about us. There's not much going on in Destiny, but we haven't. So my week.
Fucking laying down the facts tonight.
I know.
Well,
no, you go ahead. How's your week, man?
I saw some deer.
I saw that.
I found out Hove lives in the hood.
You already knew that. Yeah, I live like.
Was that right when you got back on your vacation? You were on that that flotilla trip with Rip Torn?
What?
Where you caught the scabies? No?
What?
That might have just been a fever dream. My bad. Sorry, go on.
Man, you gotta get this. Look, that's not what was going on. I went on a trip looking for lilacs and gooseberries with Rob Van Winkle and H.P. Lovecraft. And we just listened to the Grand March the entire time.
How is Rob Van Winkle? He was really, really popular in the 90s, and it seems like he's kind of teetered off a bit.
It's always funny how, like, you imagine someone inserting a word you give them and how they actually insert it. Like, you think of it being more like...
Do your insertions not go like you expected, Lego?
No, never.
Unexpected insertion. No, for real, though, I want to know about this flotilla trip. If you don't want to talk about it...
No, man, you got it wrong. It was a lilac and gooseberry trip.
It's fine, man. I don't want to go on a flotilla next time. It's fine.
Jesus.
I'm not sure whether this is like legit trying to play word insertion when you get it all out, like right.
Just
out
really
loud.
like that word. It was a really good one that he gave me. I was like, this is really cool. This makes me sound like very sophisticated, like I know what a flotilla is.
I was gonna say you didn't use it correctly necessarily, but
yeah, it's like a boat trip. It's like a fancy boat.
It's like a bunch of boats.
It's a formation of small warships.
There you go.
Yeah. Who else would be at the head of a naval fleet than Rip Torn?
Yeah, a dead comedian. No, I walked out of my house. Last week was a possum on the porch, which on my neighbor's
that
porch.
was actually amazing.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, possums, whatever. This one, there were just 2 deer just standing there, just walking up to me. And I don't live anywhere near, like, there's no woods. I don't live in the woods at all. It's city. So I don't know where they came from. Other than that, I don't know. It's dumb.
What were the deer doing? Describe.
They were just chilling, man. And then they saw me and they just started walking to me. And I was taking a video of them. And they were just walking up to me. And I was like, peace, man. I got to go.
You probably thought you had food.
You didn't have any food?
No. If I did, I would have eaten it.
When we go to the local fry place, we'll throw out like burger joint. We'll throw out our extra fries and like get bombarded by like flocks of seagulls, but there's no sea anywhere. No, it's fine. Like it's gonna happen. Like, what? You just want me to throw those away?
You could eat them.
No, I'm full.
Get a smaller order.
No. Because then what if I'm actually eat them all? I guess not. I can't. I can't. Sometimes I can't.
Some God of War for a little.
Yeah, I've been playing some God of War again. Because I was wrong. I was mistaken whatever week we talked about it. I beat the last Valkyrie to open up the boss fight against the Queen of the Valkyries, which is so goddamn much harder. So yeah, I've been doing that because I don't have anything else to do.
Yikes.
I found a dog that is the cutest dog ever, and I'm not going to get it.
I saw that.
Yeah, I can't get him.
That's sad.
Oh, you can't?
No, he's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
That's unfortunate.
Besides
That is
Wilson.
unfortunate.
I mean, it's fortunate that's the
Did no
cutest
one
thing
hear
you've
that?
ever seen in your life, but it's unfortunate that you can't get it. No, I didn't. I was
I
because
said
I've
it-
seen the dog, so I was picturing it in my
Yeah,
mind.
I said he's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. And then you guys started talking, and I said, besides Wilson.
Oh man, this bullshit. This guy
Slade.
buttering me up.
I also do want to say, even though most people won't be listening to this until it's not today, happy birthday, Wenny. It's today's Wenny's birthday.
Winnie, yeah, happy birthday.
Congrats on another trip around the sun, dude.
Yeah. Oh, I realized I'm 18 days older than TV. Exactly. He just posted his birthday the other day, and I was like, "Hey, that's really close to mine."
It was
and
yesterday.
He's exactly the same age as me, and I'm like, "Oh,
Well, he's not.
That's,
He's 18 days younger.
oh yeah, yeah." I know. He's. I meant like the years. I didn't
Oh,
realize
because
we were
you
so
said
close in
exactly.
years. Yeah. Yes. Wilson, what about you, man? Did you get to the Devil's Ruin quest and all that stuff?
I got the gun. I'm sure we'll talk about it in a bit. I have thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it was a pretty boring week. It was a banger of a Nintendo Direct this morning, though.
Oh.
Yeah, 100% Pokemon related Nintendo Direct today.
God, I'm
My
thrilled.
God, we did it, ladies and gentlemen. We finally had a good Nintendo Direct. It was great. Who'd have thought that maybe one of their best-selling franchises would have been a good thing to, do one on? But hey, I'm not an expert here, but it was great. We got some expansions coming for Sword and Shield. There's a Mystery Dungeon remake coming out in March. All this crazy news. They're releasing a bunch more Pokemon. I'm excited. Very
cool.
happy. Don't know how I'm gonna have the time. Because all of it drops like right around the time I'm gonna be back to work, like super full time this year. So
Dude,
we'll see.
I got a question for you on the I won't say on too long. I know I'm gonna fall asleep over there if I do. But
I don't care.
I'm always curious, like, why don't you think Nintendo releases like the old like Pokemon Yellow and Silver or Gold, like those ones on like iOS or something?
Well, because they put them most of the time. They put them on like their software.
Yeah.
There's like a virtual console.
But if
I
people have it on
don't
their
know why they've never really
phones-
been one to like tap into the mobile market. They tried with like some Mario Kart thing, and apparently it was like hugely littered with microtransactions, as to be expected from most like free to play mobile games.
But we got like
So they-
Pokemon Go, and I feel like with that step in there, like they could have just gone a step further and just made a like if you put the price tag of like $10-15 on those games, so many people would buy them for their phones, you know?
Well, I see why they do the whole Pokemon Go thing, because it's Niantic, the company that like handles that. So like they're just getting paid probably like some form of like royalties, some sort of like huge cut off
Licensing
the top.
fees.
Yeah, totally.
Right,
So
yeah.
so they probably realize that they can make more money with less work by just letting like Niantic or somebody else handle it. I don't know. I think it would be really cool. Maybe it's got to do something with like security, like if it would be easy to like redistribute that, or
Right.
hell, I think a lot of Android devices already have like emulators and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's kind of my point. It's already out there in emulator form, so why don't they just make money off of it? You know?
it is, dude. Like it's crazy. It's one of the biggest selling franchises of all time, man. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's crazy, man. And I don't know. It's cool. It's cool to see that they kind of took. I don't want to say that it was like my idea, but it was some feedback that I had originally given as soon as the game came out, that I wish it was something that they would build upon instead of just like try to release one, as soon as possible, another one.
Mhm.
So it's cool that they're actually taking that formula of like expanding upon what is already really good.
I was told that
Nice.
they got that idea from you, actually.
100%, dude. Look, man, me and Masuda, we're really tight.
Yeah, he called me and asked, like, do you think Wilson will be all right with it? And I was like, yeah, man, he's high as fuck. He don't care.
Oh, speaking of, that was well, not really. But this week, Wilson, my week is just totally. I just got baked all week. I did all my dawning cooking in one week.
Oh, God.
Oh man, I was
I'm
about to
out.
be like, my dude. No, I'm kidding. Finally, and then I was about to get really sad that I wasn't there. But no, that's cool. You got all your baked
Dude,
goods.
I knew
I
there was
didn't
no
do-
way in hell that was where he, like, that it was going to be real. But I was so much more hopeful for the eventual punchline.
So
It was good. I like it.
because remember when dawning started, I like didn't do anything. I was
Mhm.
like, I'm just like, it doesn't really appeal to me, whatever. But it's nice now because now I got all the materials, you know, to do it all. And so I'm just like, go to this person, go to that. And so the other night I was just like, boom, 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 knocking them out. I only have like a few left, and I have plenty of materials to do it all. So
yeah, it's super cool at first.
Right
yes, yes, you get like the double XP.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not like a mathematician. It's like quad XP or something. I don't know. Double.
I'm like maybe 8 ranks away from getting my first like the big time armor set that you get at the end of the season.
I've been slacking, dude. Like I said, I just haven't. I jumped on, did the whole sidearm thing, and was absolutely tickled pink by the experience that I had. The fan heartstrings got tugged on a little bit.
Ooh, yeah.
But like other than that, like I took it into the Crucible and then like did some stuff in PvE, and I was like, holy shit, dude, I actually kind of like this thing. And yeah, man, it's actually something else I did this week. We've been having some like freakishly good weather, like in like the 40s and 50s here. So I actually got to work this week as well.
Yeah.
So I was telling Hove, and actually I think I was telling both you guys about how out of shape I feel after like a 58-yard concrete pour. Like,
oh man,
I know.
Talk about freakishly warm weather. It's supposed to hit 70 here on Saturday.
No kidding. It's not supposed to get that.
70.
We're supposed to get like snow and ice and shit on Saturday. It's supposed to be fucking nasty.
Nah, fam.
Wow.
Normally me and Sam go out for coffee on Saturday, but we're like, nah, dude, we're just gonna.
I'll go out for coffee on Saturday.
Well, speaking of being tired and just like wanting to pass out, Wilson, that was also part of my week, was just like these allergies like getting to me, and it's been so nice. I know I keep talking about Stadia, but it's because it works so flawlessly at my house for whatever reason. I know other people have different experiences, but I like the last maybe like 10 times that I've played it, like 10 nights, not a single like glitch or anything like has happened to me while I've been playing.
I really hope that we can get more people in on Stadia for the population's sake. You know, I'm one of those people that was like, you know, who is this for? Who is this for? And like now, like knowing someone that like, I mean, it's clearly for you, Lego, like someone in your position.
Specific.
So like, it is really cool to see it like working really well for somebody who like not only enjoys it working well, but I don't like know if you like need it to work well, but it seems like that's your preferred place to play right now. Like,
well, that's the problem I'm facing now, is I like it so much that I don't like the thought of turning on my PlayStation and sitting there and waiting for it to load and like coming over here and having to sit at this desk versus just laying on the couch when I have allergies hitting me super hard. You know, I just like.
Do you play naked?
No.
Oh.
And so, but
Hope definitely does by that response, by him going, oh,
for sure.
He was totally gonna be like, me too, bro, and then you said no. And he's like, it completely shattered his whole world. Sorry.
No, and so it's just nice that to be able to play that way. Also, I'm finally figuring out, you know, they obviously still have work to do, but I feel like every time I get on and play, like the longer time goes by, the more clean the experience gets, it feels like, for whatever reason. Like, I don't know if they're doing stuff behind the scenes. It's Google, so I assume they would, but I'm finding new ways to use it too. Like, they haven't really improved the app much, but I've been capturing clips and it immediately goes to your phone and you can watch it on your phone. And I realized you can use a thing called Google Takeout, which downloads
brings you food, brings you takeout.
I wish. No, but it lets you download your whole Stadia saved folder basically from the cloud. And then I can take those clips, and it's in 4K 60 FPS, and I can do whatever I want with it. And I'm like, dude, this is incredible. I uploaded a clip today or yesterday, and somebody was like, that looks so clean, that's Stadia. And I was like, yeah, this is what it's like for me, you know.
I like that it doesn't get all like messed up and like compressing the file or whatever, or and like you lose fidelity or whatever. I wish more things were streamlined like that, like Steam or Nvidia's capture software where you got to hit like Windows Alt G, and then you have to like go on this like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade looking for the Holy Grail that is like your file. Like, where did it get saved to? Like, you'd think the Destiny 2 folder.
Well, don't get me wrong, it's definitely not streamed.
Oh no. Oh no.
Lego, you good, bud? We can hear you.
Am I back?
There you are.
Okay, so it's definitely not streamlined yet because like once I get the file, it looks amazing, you know, but right now you can only do it on your app. You can't like save it. And so I'm sure in a future update they'll have to where you just look at it on your phone and then you like click save and it saves the 4K thing. You know, they're just not there yet. But they're getting there. Like I can tell that in an update that could come, it could be so streamlined and really, really nice to play that way.
Have you go ahead, Hoof?
I would say I'm also more curious, speaking of the population, for when it actually like releases. I don't want to say to the public because again, for whatever reason it's not a beta, but you had to have like ordered all, like you can't just sit down and play Stadia. Like you have to have gotten the controller and the Chromecast and all that stuff. So I'm curious what'll happen when people can just sit down and play a game.
I really am curious too, because that is the biggest problem with it by far, is the population, because that makes me want to go play PlayStation sometimes because I can't find certain activities are easy, like Sundial, strikes, you know, anything that's not SBMM is just like you're in, you know, because there's enough of everybody's so close to each other on the server that connections don't matter, so it just puts you in. But for anything Crucible related, oh my gosh, dude, it takes I get for going for control, not even like any particular playlist, just regular control, I get timed out. Like it takes so long sometimes. Like
you're sitting at 5,500 4 seasons ago. Remember when you used to do that? Like
not every, it's like exactly like that, but just quick play. And it's not every game that happens, but and not every night. Like some nights I'll log in and it's immediately I'm in and the whole night's great. Once you find a group, it's fine. But like there's some nights where there's just no one in my skill bracket that's on, and so I just
it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because I imagine there's some people that like really need this to work, or there's a lot of people that are waiting to jump on because they want to see it be a little bit successful more than it already is. You know what I mean? Before they decide to pounce on it. I don't know. I think it needs to work. I don't know. This needs to not fail for some people, in my opinion.
I still think, I mean, we've talked about all the shortcomings. A lot of it was marketing and whatever else, but like for whatever reason, there was just this huge group. Hell, it might even be the majority. It's all I hear, that just like want it to fail. Like they will not hear anything from any person who likes it or like any positive thing. It's all they see is like the negatives and what's wrong with it, and like it can't be changed or improved. Like everything that's ever launched has been, you know, perfect. I don't know what it is. It just seems like there's so many people just against it from the start.
Yeah. Well, like even if Google Stadia doesn't do well, as long as like somebody else steps up, and because it doesn't do well is because somebody's doing it better, like competition just helps out the consumer in the end. You know what I mean? So even if this does fail, as long as it fails for somebody else to come along and do it better, like I'm okay with that, because then somebody's still left with another option. I just don't want people to get, oh crap, wow, well, real professional, not putting my phone on vibrate here, apologize.
You should apologize.
I just don't want people to like get this experience and get really used to it and really enjoy it and then be up Schitt's Creek without a paddle.
I don't want to be like, in Schitt Creek even with a paddle though.
It'd have to be a really long paddle. Like I can't go back, as far as Destiny was concerned, like I couldn't go back to my PlayStation. In fact, like it was so on its last leg, dude. Like it was like I had to like give this thing CPR. Like I'm not even kidding. Like, come on, you could take the disc, like pushing the disc in, like and to the point where I was like, dude, I'm just taking this thing to GameStop. Like PS5 is presumably coming out like holiday next year. I'm gonna trade this thing in before they're like, no, dude, that thing's not even worth its, like, you know, not even good to us. It's like a paperweight. So I don't even have my PlayStation anymore, you know? So like I can only imagine like, you know, I play on PC, so like that's obviously not going anywhere. But I could feel for some people who have maybe done that, like really put all their like pennies or eggs into one basket, so to speak, and then like there's like no one to play with.
Yeah.
On the PvP side, rather.
Yeah. No, it's interesting to think about for sure. And Hove, to your point, just real quick, I just wanted to say that, you know, you were talking about all the negativity surrounding it and just the people who it's not for. And I guess that's why I keep bringing it up and my good experiences with it, because I want there to be some voice of somebody who, if somebody has a good experience, I want people to hear that too. So that's why I keep bringing it up.
That's fine. You're allowed to, this is a gaming podcast, Lego.
I'm not necessarily talking to you. I'm just adding on to what you said for people listening.
Oh, I'm sorry that I responded. Speaking of
Don't apologize to me.
Oh my god. Speaking of not wanting to turn on your PlayStation, you have been turning on your PlayStation for something, right?
I did, and I wish honestly I could play it on Stadia because it'd be a lot easier. But yes, I did start God of War, and only one night, but that one night I played a long time. Like, I thought to myself that I don't really know about the mechanics of this game. Like, I did a few swipes and was like, I don't know, this seems like more of the like slasher kind of game, not really my thing. And then as soon as like I started unlocking more things and going, and I really, the story propels you at first. The story's more than anything. Yeah, and I was like, okay, what's this about? What's that about? And then it keeps going, and then the skill trees unlock, and you start doing all these crazy like tools, like throwing your hammer and bringing it back. And I was like, or axe.
Oh, whatever. You got a hammer? Nice.
Yeah, I wanted to play Destiny's hammer for it to come back to you, but I can see why everybody praises it as such a great game, because all the points that you want it to hit, like story, the gameplay, you know, the skill tree, of investing time.
There is no difference between cutscene and gameplay at all.
That
literally.
too.
It just
seamless.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I was very happy because Lego told me he finally started playing it. He was like, when I started playing, you know, it seemed like it wasn't gonna be my kind of game and blah blah. And then I was like, well, I'll try it out. And then the next thing I knew, it was 1 a.m. and I was still playing.
Yeah,
I was like, yes,
exactly. So funny. So yeah, that was great starting that too. But I really want to. Oh, go ahead, Wilson.
I was gonna say, you guys been watching any Games Done Quick? Awesome Games Done Quick charity marathon. They're almost at 1 million. They started Sunday, I think. Yeah, Sunday morning, and it is 24/7 nonstop speedrun marathons by the best in the world, people from all over the place. And tonight they're actually doing a Last Wish raid run. Yeah.
And really what's cool about that is, I'm gonna kind of skip ahead a little bit, but Bungie shouted them out in the TWAB. And I just, you know, I think it's always cool to see Bungie, like, you know, shouting out regulated like things that other people are running.
Yeah.
Who's doing
Dado was there. I'm gonna be totally honest, I'm not familiar with any of these names. If you give me a moment here, I can look up the schedule and we can properly shout out these people's names. Again, not for, you know, just I'm not 100% familiar with who these people are. But I did see that when they were doing the pre-game interview, Dado was there, so I'm pretty sure he's going to be doing couch commentating, running people through. A lot of the runners don't like to talk because they got to focus, and they usually have people on the couch for them. So let's see here. Last Wish raid, all encounters, Shockwave, the Packle, Milkman, Tokigi, Trader Kirk, Alexi, and Sinclair.
Oh, okay.
So it's interesting. They were kind of hyping it up. Huh?
Nothing.
Oh, I was say they were kind of hyping it up. They said it was probably one of their most ambitious runs. They never had something that was like a 6-player cooperative MMO RPG shooter type thing. So
nice.
I'm excited to catch it. Probably not gonna be able to see all of it, so I'll have to watch the replay because I think it's coming up here very shortly.
Yeah, I want to say it's like now-ish.
Are you rooting for a particular team, Wilson?
Well, no, it's not a team.
Race.
I say race, but like race against time. So it's just people getting together to show how quickly they can beat stuff. Sometimes they do races, like 2 people will play Mario Brothers 3 and they'll have them side by side and see who can beat the game. You know, they'll have like 2 of the best speedrunners, like Mitch Flower Power and like Grand Pooh Bear or something, and go out there and race them. So it's really cool. If you guys haven't seen it or heard of it, it's awesome. Games Done Quick. It's like the highest viewed Twitch channel right now. You can't miss it. Super interesting. Definitely check it out. It's for a really good cause, cancer prevention this year.
Last thing, Lego, did you tell me you did start watching Messiah?
Yeah, the first episode.
Just the first one still? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a show about Wilson.
I don't know Messiah, man.
You are to somebody. You are to somebody.
I ain't no savior either. That's why I'm skipping the title this year or this season. It's not my thing.
Good call.
It's just not my thing.
Wait. Speaking of things to not skip out on, that awesome ship is in Eververse right now. The Dawning ship.
Oh, rip Lego again.
You're kind of cutting out. Is it? I think it's the gingerbread ghost. Is it?
No. Yeah, that one's in there, but the ship that looks like super sharp, you know?
Yes.
Dude, that one looks awesome. It was the one that I've been waiting for. I was like, I know they're gonna sell it for Bright Dust at some point, and it's this final week they're selling it. So go grab it. It looks awesome.
I like that they do it that way. That it seems like it's intentional. They put like the hot fire stuff towards the end, so the people who want to purchase it right away and flaunt it don't feel diminished by their purchase because somebody else just bought it like the next week or for Bright Dust or something. Yeah. So I like that they put all the really cool stuff towards the end that you can just purchase for Bright Dust.
Also, incentive to do the baking stuff, like whenever you give vendors, whenever you get baked and you give vendors the cookies, you get like gifts sometimes, and they have like 5 enhancement cores in them, or you know, like they don't always just have the weapon that is for the Dawning. Sometimes they have like actual useful material, so that's a good reason to do it. I feel like I didn't realize that before when I was slacking. Now I'm not. I'm getting baked. So
you weren't slacking. You're just postponing it.
Yeah.
If you were slacking, the time would have already passed, and you'd be showing regret.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, well let's talk Devil's Ruin, because we kind of got into it at the beginning, but it was the new quest. The first impression I got, because I wasn't on yet, I hopped on Twitter and I didn't realize the quest was that day. I just had so much going on this week, and I was like, oh yeah, it's the quest, it's the sidearm thing everybody's been waiting for. And I guess a ton more people were like waiting for this date. I have mainly content creators, I guess, who were like, oh, here it is. And then all on Twitter I could see was, this gun isn't that great, it's outclassed by legendaries, the quest was a joke, why doesn't Bungie make hard content? That was all that I heard. And so I get on there and play it, and of course it's something that I was like, this is cool, like I enjoyed this. I don't know what the difference is between, but I was like, that was a clever like quest thing. I love the gun. I took it in and played, like that was all I played with that night, and
you're not allowed to enjoy things, Lego. This is Destiny.
Okay, so remember how I said I had feelings?
Yeah.
So before the quest even started, I was already stick in the mud. I'm gonna have to get like 500 sidearm kills, and then I'm gonna have to go do some stupid thing in the raid that I don't even want to do anymore, and this and that. And I was already like moping. I was on my way to the birthday party, moping around, already upset. And then the quest drops, and I'm like, okay, it's kind of cool. Can we talk about it? We're not keeping it like spoiler free, right?
I want to know.
Right?
Yeah.
So like you get into the Twilight Gap, which we've been there before for PvE content. So it's always really cool to kind of be doing something else different on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Starting with the gun, before I get to the actual quest, the gun, I was very pleasantly surprised, really enjoyed it. I like the way that it takes a minute to charge up, and it can absolutely like shit on people if played correctly. even spectral blades or whatever, like specs, like they get absolutely melted, even just to the body. Like it's the synergy that I could see with the sniper rifle with that gun. Short range, you got your basic pew 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 pew. What a lot of people aren't doing with the weapon is taking that down to 1 or 2 bullets, then charging it, because it instantly reloads the magazine and gives you a full magazine for the laser charge. So already the synergy that I can see with like a sniper rifle, like short range with the pew pews, mid to mid long range with the laser, and then of course your long range with your sniper. I was very excited. They played very well together. Also extremely enjoyable in PvE. Also shits on enemies.
Oh, I haven't tried it yet.
So,
yeah, it's really good.
So how exactly does explain for those who may not? How's this gun work?
It's got 15 rounds in it, like a normal sidearm. And you can fire it pretty fast, and it works like a normal sidearm. But then you, at any point in the mag, you can hold it down, and the sides of it like expand, and then it shoots out a charge beam it looks like like one of the charge rifles,
trace rifles.
Yeah, trace rifles that we have now, but it feels more like a fusion rifle, just like a beam of fusion rifle though. And
it's almost like a pocket infinity pistol with one focused beam instead of like multiple, like pew 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 pew. Like it has this just one very powerful focused laser.
It reminds me of the Apex new charge rifle beam thing that you charge up. Yeah, it's called a charge rifle. Yeah.
I'm
So
just-
that thing, it's like that, or the Spartan laser. If you ever played Halo, I feel like it feels like those things, but it's like in the size of a sidearm. You know,
it's very cool. It's very versatile, man.
I just want to say, just
people
like
need to give it a chance.
Just like Wilson with his Pokemon stuff earlier. I don't know if you guys remember. It might even been during Destiny 1. I had an idea for a gun like this.
Really?
Yep. There was more of a middle ground for me though. It was like you could either single tap it and take one, or you could charge it and make it more like a fusion, like more like bolts or whatever. But there was also a middle ground, like maybe you only wanted to do 3 out of 5 or 4. Do you know what I mean? Like there was a instead of single shot or full burst, you could kind of stop it anywhere in between. But I said that long time ago.
That's crazy. Well, it's really cool because
Pete
if you
Parsons
use it right, that Wilson, like you said, if potential with a sniper rifle, that's exactly how I was using it.
Yeah, man.
Because you do that sniper combo, somebody comes in on you close and you tap them down with the sidearm part, like or see you body someone and then tap that person like 2 shots with the sidearm, and then somebody comes from the side and you just charge it and go to the right and just one shot him with the laser. It feels
even
so
better
satisfying.
In something like a 3v3 scenario, I can't tell you how many times I've sniped somebody from far away, and then as I'm descoping and I'm getting ready to push up, because I was in my scope, I didn't see that somebody was pushing me. So then I'm instantly like kind of, I usually have a hand cannon, unless it's last word, like it's going to be really hard for me to counter somebody rushing at me super close. So the sidearm to pew, 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 knock them out. And then, oh crap, I don't think I'm going to have enough ammo to finish the next guy. Just pre-charge when the next guy's charging at you. And it, like you said, it'll reload it back to 15 or 16, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think,
and give you, it'll give you a full laser shot. Even if you have like 1 or 2 bullets left in your magazine, if you hold down fire, it will, once that charge goes off, it'll instantly reload it and give you a full blast. So it's really cool. I think in 3v3, it's really going to shine. The quest, the fan service / like pulling at some heartstrings here. It was a really cool conversation between 3 very notorious guardians, Saint 14, Osiris, and Shaxx. There's a lot of stuff that's gone unsaid since the Battle of Twilight Gap. A lot of, it'd be really cool if these guys can just sit down and kind of talk about things. And it finally happened. But I like when you get the gun, Osiris says, "Feel free to travel about the universe. I'm sure you have better things to do than to listen to this conversation." And I looked over at Sam and I go, "Nope." And like, I'm staying for this shit. Like, thank you. And speaking of Sam,
what'd you get? What'd you get?
Hot chocolate with whipped cream in my Snorlax coffee mug, my Peanuts coffee mug, where he's laying on top of the
really cool coffee mug.
Sam got me that for Christmas.
Very awesome.
It's amazing. We make our hot chocolate with milk, the real way.
Yeah, of course.
But anyway, the quest was amazing. I was laughing. I was feeling sentimental. He touched on the let's see, Saint 14 and Shaxx touched on the Crucible weapons, and I feel like one of the best lines in that entire conversation was, "Are you sure your guardians are bettering themselves or chasing hardware?" Is what Saint 14 said to Osiris. But most importantly, Hove got his question answered. Yes, they do refer to him as just Saint. They actually do it several times in the conversation. I thought of you instantly.
Pete Parsons called me about that too.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did. But I did think of you right away as soon as they said Saint. I was like,
I didn't even cross my mind. I guess because I call him Saint. So
yeah. But I don't know. What'd you think of it, Lego?
Dude, I thought it was awesome. I did struggle. I feel like it cheats a little bit because the things that you have to find, some of them don't show up until you find a different one.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And so I was like, I checked this area. I
swear.
Dude.
Yeah.
And then I was in there forever because I was like, I'm not gonna look up a guide how to find these things.
I just thought I was too high.
Because I mentioned before on a previous podcast that I really like the whole search and find stuff and make you look places you didn't look. And I liked that. I liked that every few ones you found, Saint, Mr. Tuff, he would give you some lines about whatever happened at Twilight Gap.
Oh yeah, he kind of. Sometimes I don't know if he's like being serious or if he's just a big jokester.
Yeah,
because he's like, there might not have been no Saint 14. We might have lost the Battle of Twilight Gap. And Osiris is like, you act as if the hunters and warlocks sat on their hands. And, you know, it's just really cool. He's like, your ego knows no bounds. He's like, you fat-headed warlock. Like, it's just so
My
good.
favorite line the whole time is when he said something like, Shaxx, it was Osiris or Shaxx? I can't remember which one. I think it was Osiris, because he was like, I'm gonna come in there and do something in the Crucible too, and he was like, "That is a battle you would not win." Like he's like egging on Osiris to take him on.
You make me laugh. You can stay. Like, you know, that type of shit.
Afterwards,
he's just like a big cuddly teddy bear is the vibe I get from, like, you know, and a bear will fuck you up if you cross it, but you know, it can also be super cuddly and cute at the same time.
They also prevent forest fires.
True.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking of McGruff, the crime dog, and that's not the same thing.
I was thinking Captain Sparkles, and
whoa,
you don't even know what that's from.
I don't.
No,
it's from a TV show we talked about not too long ago.
Only Captain I know from a TV show is either Captain Ron or Captain Planet.
What about Captain Crunch?
He doesn't watch Marvel movies, so
that's a cereal. That's not a show.
Still.
Something else with the gun I was gonna say.
Captain Morgan.
His cereal cuts the roof of your mouth. It's bullshit.
Not if you use your teeth to chew it, not your gums.
The sidearm. I was gonna go back to the way it feels. The animation of the sidearm is like perfect, and like the sound design of it, like it feels very satisfying to use. And I wanted to bring that up because one of our big complaints with trace rifles, where they just felt like not fun to use. Even
felt like a limp fish.
It felt bad. I will say that. and I feel like this looks like a trace rifle at the end, but it feels so much more satisfying with the charge up and the way the gun expands, and it just feels like you're plowing into somebody with a laser how you want it to feel, you know?
Yeah.
You're prodding them with a laser, not a limp fish. Good call.
Yeah, I'd much rather go into battle with a laser than a limp fish, for sure. No, I agree. The gun has to be enjoyable, but like, I guess my point earlier was that like I was moping about the quest before I even went into it.
Yeah.
And then I was surprised because they changed it up and did something different. Like, even if it was short, it was very, very sweet. And like I said, this was way more memorable than me getting 500 fucking sidearm kills.
Yeah.
150 sidearm double kills in Crucible, and then like bitching about it the entire time.
Same.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I thought it was cool. It was something different. I didn't expect like a fucking raid encounter for this thing, you know? Like, I don't know. I thought it was cool. They did something different, and they chose to play on a little bit of story for it. It was cool. Give me my gun. I want to play with it. It was awesome. It took less than like an hour.
The only other side of the conversation I could see is, and I thought about it after I saw someone's post saying they were disappointed they didn't go back to Twilight Gap, like, I guess back in time, or to see something happen, or with all the time traveling stuff that's going on this season. And at some point I remembered Bungie saying something about going back to Twilight Gap, and that sparked a lot of like, are we going to get to see something? You know, that was something that was kind of brought up by the community. I remember thinking it at one point too, but I'd kind of forgotten about it. And I guess some community members kind of held on to that idea, and so that's kind of what they were. I think it goes back to expectations and what people thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I didn't really have any. And you had obviously a long kill quest.
I just really liked the people that they mentioned, like some of Eris's fire team, Anna Bray, like the people who believed in Shaxx when he defied orders and, you know, charged out after the Fallen.
Yeah.
Doesn't it also kind of like, you know, you hear about all these, you know, we've heard about all these Guardians that did all these different things. And generally, you know, especially in Destiny 1, you heard about the ones that, like, fought the people that we fought in the raids and, like, failed. Like, that's what a lot of them were, right? Like, the team that fought Crota and the team, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. And it's cool now that, like, it makes them almost feel more real. Like, not just because, you know, like, Osiris and Saint 14 are back, but, like, just to hear them talk about all these different people, not just so-and-so died when they fought Crota, and they're like a story piece. And now that you hear other characters talk about, like, their interactions with them and whether it be like their personality or things they did. It just makes the whole story.
I'm really
feel
glad
more
you
alive.
brought that up, because I wanted to kind of bring that up and I wasn't really sure like how to, and to be honest I kind of forgot. But the conversation between Saint, Osiris, and Shaxx, I'm not gonna lie, like when they all finally joined the call together, Shaxx was super surprised to hear from Saint 14. He's like, I thought I thought you were dead, and he's like, I've always hated you, brother, and then all three of them start laughing at once, and it's like, dude, this is like my fire team, you know what I mean? Like, this is like, it's making stories of legend
relatable,
become more real and relatable. You know what I mean? Because instantly, as soon as that dude said, I've always hated you, brother, I instantly thought of like Spiffy. You know what I mean? Like, because he's always so cranky, and like, so it's like this, it's, as soon as you can make characters relatable, the more people get invested in the story, I guess you could say. Like, I don't know, it works for me anyway. Like, that was really cool. Like, Hove nailed it. Like, it makes it more fleshed out instead of just a fucking story. You feel like you're a part of it.
And beyond, like I said, not just the three, like them definitely, because now they're there, they're talking, but even just hearing some of those people come back, and like you said, mentioning people from like Eris's fire team and stuff, they're becoming more characters as opposed to like story pieces. Oh, this person died. We need to let you know how dangerous this mission is going to be. So let's tell you about the people that died. That's what a lot of these people used to.
A lot of martyrs. It was a lot of martyrs. People dying for a cause later for somebody else to step up and fix it.
But that's all you knew about them, is that they died doing this. And now even if it's small things, just to hear people like act like they know them. Even Eris in the last, like in Shadowkeep and the first season with Shadowkeep, just kind of like, finding those keepsake things and whatever for her, and it's just like it made them like real characters instead of just things that died to let you know that this is going to be hard. Everyone died here already. Like,
Vault of Glass, Crota's End, Taniks killed Cade's mentor, and that's how he became the Vanguard and took the dare. It's all these people that died for like a greater cause for us to eventually come in and like add closure to it.
And that was all they were, is they were story pieces.
Yep.
This just adds to the thing I was talking about the other week where and Bungie actually mentioned it as well, but like, we are the ones that are like it, like it's like it used to be Destiny was very past focused, I feel like, previously, where it was more like, hear about this person, hear about this word on a page, and it's like you said, Hove, they were just words in a lore book, or names in a lore book, rather than the people you talk to. And now more of them are coming back, and you're like interacting with them, and they're interacting with you, and that made me think of, there's just so much in this mission. I want to go back and replay it now, Wilson, after you brought up some of those points, because there's another line where before Shaxx gets on the call, he's Saint's talking to Osiris, and he says, Shaxx, I've never known him to ever quit, like ever. Like, he would fight till the end. He's never...
more stubborn than you. He says what he follows up with.
And I was like, oh, okay. Like, some you see Shaxx every day in the tower, but you never think about those qualities, other than him yelling at you in the Crucible. Now you like know why he is like that.
Yeah, no, he totally puts off that vibe. And I like where he's like, what did you do to the Crucible? And he's like, this used to be a place where we settled our differences. Now it's a place where we better ourselves, like to prepare for, what's next, or something like that. And it's like, holy shit, man, back in the day, it was the schoolyard grudge match back in the day. Like,
1v1 me, bro.
Yeah, 1v1 me, bro. 6v6. Let me get my boys and you get your boys and we'll shout some hoop,
It was like the Outsiders.
Basically what it was like.
It's like the Outsiders.
Yeah, it's just like how barbaric shit used to be back during like when everybody were Iron Lords, or not Iron Lords, like before the
Warlords,
Warlords. Basically, everyone was like super tribal and stuff like that. So, it's really cool. I don't know, it really gave a lot of the insight, and like KB Ninja said, the story of Luna's Howl, the guardian Yosef, who lost his dog on the moon fighting the Hive, and he's like, bastards, I'm glad you killed their king,
right. That was a good line.
Yeah, or actually, sorry, best line was when he's like, tell me about this long rifle, the Revoker. And he goes, it shoots bullets, Saint. It's a gun. And like, that's all. He was getting sick of his questions, you could tell.
There's also one
Oh, robot Lego.
Am I back? I'm back.
Now
Okay.
you're back.
So the something else. This is the last line I'll say. Like we've said a lot of different lines,
sure.
but there's a lot of good content in there, and one of them in relating to us and us being a part of the story is Saint says something about us and leading him through time at one point, and Osiris says this guardian isn't the I think he says savior. Is that
straight
what he
up
says?
this isn't the savior of light that you've been looking for, or something like that? And
it's
like,
interesting that's the title of this season is savior, right?
You become the savior.
I didn't really put those two together. That's interesting. Yeah.
Plus he still owes Shaxx still owes him Glimmer. Owes 14 Glimmer.
Well, I don't know. It depends on what side. He's like, he was dead. He's like, you were dead.
He's like, in my defense, you were dead.
That's good.
Too good, man.
It's just also like when you kind of build on what I was saying about like, you know, them being people and it used to be in the past, and now like kind of all these people are coming back, and now you're living with them and doing stuff. It also kind of makes me think, and this has no bearing on how the story would go or how I would enjoy it, but just for my own like how things work type of curiosity, it takes me back to the question I asked a few weeks ago about how much do you think the way the story has evolved has been kind of planned from the beginning, and how much is just kind of oh, here, let's do this, like this happened. Because you could look at, like you said, D1 was very much, let's establish what all these people did and they're gone or whatever, and now all of a sudden you're kind of running into all of them. Was it always, and like I said, it's probably some combination of both, and it really doesn't affect the story, but my own, like, I would love to get a chance to like sit down and ask them, like, listen, when you guys started writing all this lore and telling these stories in D1 about Osiris and Saint 14, did you know you were eventually going to bring them back, or did you get into D2 and you were like, hey, you know what, we could do this? You know, that would just be really, really interesting to me personally.
It would be interesting. Yeah, totally.
Would be really cool to pick their brain on that. Because, I mean, they have to know that there's like a million different ways that they could take it if they wanted to, you know, like.
Absolutely.
I mean, it has to be an evolving story. I mean, we're pretty certain that the Cade thing wasn't planned, right? That was probably because of the whole splitting of Nathan Fillion or whatever. Like, that's a shame if that's the case, but like that's just the way the world works sometimes. Like,
I don't know.
You know. Well, I mean, because like the whole, and like, I don't know. I hate to say that, like, I'm not trying to say that he's as petty as most people, but it's just really weird that he would unfollow them after doing his last bit of work. Like, it's really uncommon. Like, even if I, like, let's say, like, let me put it into my perspective from like something that I'm familiar with. Yeah. If I did a job for someone making them a bunch of glass pipes and I get done, I'm not just going to unfollow their business. You know what I mean? And I understand like contracts and things like that are different in that sort of business, but I don't know. I just find it weird. Like, he was done doing his voice lines. Like, they killed him off. He doesn't. So like, I guess like the point I'm trying to make is like some stuff they have to do on the fly like that, and some stuff I'm sure that they've probably prepared for. But I think the whole Cade 6 thing was done on the fly. I don't think it was done for meaning or impact.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, they had Nolan North do his stuff in the beginning of Forsaken, and it sounded pretty much the same.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, are you going to have Nolan North do Cade 6 for the rest of Destiny's career, or are you just going to kill the character off and have him continue to do what he's already getting paid to do? And then you have one less person to pay.
Do it.
Yeah, I feel like they could have done whatever they wanted to with that.
I don't know. At first, I did feel like it was. I don't know if it was just because of like how like impactful that whole thing was, because Cade 6 was my favorite character.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. Like I said, like I don't know. It's just too many. I don't believe in coincidence, basically, and there's just too many quote unquote coincidences. Like, sorry, I don't know if it's a downer. It's just like you started talking about like story being planned, and that was the first thing that came to mind. That like I don't think that was planned, but they had to change it on the fly.
You got your what did we call it? It's not tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. It's critical.
It's critical thinking.
Yeah.
Which is funny because he actually mentions the spin foil hat when he talks about the savior in that conversation. So it's funny
really?
Yeah. He's like, you still got your spin foil hat or something like that.
He says that?
Yeah, totally.
I didn't realize.
Yeah.
There's so much in that one mission that is like from the community. That's crazy.
Well done, Bungie. I don't know if any of you guys are listening or something, but well done. Like for
probably
real.
not.
Probably not. But like you never know. Lego could make
again.
that part the clip for the week or something. I don't know. Like just saying. Like well done. I enjoyed it.
Wilson a part of the clip this week. That's all I'll say. We did get a TWAB this week. There's not like a ton of stuff in it, but there's one thing that I wanted to point out. Well, there's a couple things to point out, but one of them is the banhammer, which got swung real hard this week. There was some crazy drama stuff that went down, but I'm not gonna touch too much on that. What I will touch on is Elliot Gray, who is one of the Bungie devs, retweeted the Bungie support like account that goes on BNet and replies to people who are trying to get their account back. And if you click on that link, it's hilarious, honestly.
Juicy.
Like, dude, it's so good. There's people who are like, I swear I didn't cheat. I didn't do anything wrong, and then they reply and they're like, actually, here's what time you did it from this account. Yeah.
Actually, you forget what century you live in, and all of your fucking data is recorded.
And some of them, like, some will be, one of them was like, God, it had to be like 1,000 words, like saying why they didn't cheat. It was so long.
Yeah.
And then there's been ones where they're like, oh, well, I have this program, but it just runs in the background, and it's just for this, and it doesn't do anything. And then I like how on a lot of them they're like, you were running an aim cheat that was designed specifically for Destiny 2. Like, not like some generic thing. They were like, this is something that we see reading.
I was using that for Mario Bros, dude.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that was me helping my time splits in my Mario Brothers speed run, man. I forgot to turn it off. No, like, another thing, too, is that, like, a lot of apps like Steam and Epic, in the user agreement license, a lot of times they have the right to, those things have access to your internet history files. And if you go to things like I like cheats and, or whatever the fuck else you call it, like I suck at video games, so here's a program.com, like, wow, it will flag you for investigation, you know, like it's not, you gotta read shit. Like people are just so dumb. Like they don't even need to like do as much work on their end as we think. Like, you know, like it's crazy, but it's good to see the banhammer come down because there was some like you said, I don't want to touch on it too much, but there was some fucking drama. Yeah. And it was great to see some people get their just desserts for once. There was score one for the good guys.
I like dessert.
And it's nice to see. Secondly, it's really good to see this happen publicly and for Bungie devs to like tweet it out, not just in the TWAB, but like
totally
for the community to see that they're not just looking at one account, they're looking at everything coming from that IP, from that computer that is doing stuff, or that household, and they're seeing the account, like this person have multiple accounts, and that it's not just this one account, but they made alternate accounts to, you know, cheat on them or DDoS or whatever they're doing. You know, they're seeing those things, and like you can't just like, you can't cover it up. They're gonna know. They'll
find your fuckery.
Yeah. And so it's good for people to know, because you get your account permanently banned. There are people on that forum that are like, I played Destiny for 5 years. I got all this stuff. Like, please let me back in. They're like, sorry, bro, you cheated, you know, like you can't get back in. So don't cheat.
I think it's good that they do this publicly, dude. Scare tactics are a perfect way to keep people from doing shit. Like the government does it. Like everyone does it. Like scare tactics, like make an example of someone publicly and other people will not fuck up. Like it's
not just scare tactics, it's like disciplinary, like it's helping people realize that what you do, and this is what's good about it being public, is they specifically say, you know, you were using your cheat to make other people's experiences lessened in the game. Like you're affecting other people when you do this. So, and that's important for people to understand, because it's not like Bungie wants to take away all this stuff. They like want you, it'd be cool if you could just learn your lesson and not do it again, but you're affecting other players' experiences, and so they're going to shut you down, you know?
Dope. I dig it. Don't cheat. Hey, you can cheat all you want, but know the potential consequences to what you're doing before, and don't act like a little baby when it blows up in your face.
Or in like a solo game where
I'm just saying, I've taken my licks, man. You know what I mean? I've taken my licks both in real life and video games, you know, like that's how it goes, man. You gotta be prepared for the consequences.
I will say the thing that interesting to me before we move on is it wasn't in the TWAB because necessarily they were saying, look at what we've done. It was in the TWAB because they are saying that they have always had a no, you cannot appeal a ban. They're permanent, and they are now instituting a way to kind of appeal them, right?
I mean, there are people, yeah, they're letting people post like, you know, on there to see why, but I didn't see any that were overturned.
They should do an appeal.
No, but I'm saying that's what they were announcing in the TWAB.
Yeah, I guess so. I missed it.
They should
do
that,
the whole point of
but it should be a risk. You should be at risk for it being publicized, like the rest of them. So, you want to plead your case? You want to plead your case? All right, plead it to Twitter. Let's hear it. This is why we banned you. Let's hear it. Let's hear your story. And then most people are just gonna be like, "No, fuck that. I'll take my ban." Like,
yeah. No, I mean, like, because even though they were showing those things where they were responding just to confirm a thing, I mean, a ban. This whole thing, the reason it's in here is historically Bungie has not given players the ability to appeal a restriction or ban because all restrictions and bans are already reviewed by a trained Bungie employee. However, going forward, we will be providing a resource for players to appeal a restriction or ban. More details will be available on our appeal contact form, which we found here. So, I mean, that whole thing was in there because they are providing a way to appeal it now.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's necessary to have. Like, you never know. There could be collateral damage. Like, if somebody's doing some shady shit and you were just in their fire team, like, some people could generally not have an idea that the last game was not a natural disconnect.
Well, they kind of look at that. Like, you could tell from their responses, they didn't just, like, if somebody was with a group of people that didn't, you know, that was doing stuff like that, it's not like they soloed out this person who wasn't doing anything. It didn't, like, it seemed like they were very methodical and like scientific about the way they were banning people. Like, they really had reasons, you know, about doing it, which was cool to see too, like their kind of process almost.
I'm sure they do, but I also think that there had to have been some point where they realized they screwed up somewhere, else they wouldn't have gone back on this very strict no appeals to, hey, here's how you can appeal.
Or that's just covering their tracks for when that day inevitably does come.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're probably right, though, to be honest.
Did you see any favorite band replies in there? Because my favorite one, the guy who's, it's true, I cheated just a little, please sunban me or something like that.
Yeah, he just cut straight to the chase. Like, I'll admit whatever you want, dude. I stole something when I was 6 years old. I did, you know,
what it was.
like it's like Goonies when they tell a kid to spill it and he starts going through the entire history of every time he's fucked up. Like, yeah, just don't ban me, please. Like, yeah, okay. I've said my toxic bit, but realistically, people do make mistakes and people can learn from their mistakes. Now, where do you draw the line with those people? Is there going to be a shades of gray severities of infractions where, like, if you're caught DDoSing, like, no, dude, you don't get a second chance? But I mean,
it's tough because maybe, like, how do you, like,
that's what I'm saying,
people's character? Like, you can't,
well, not even their character, but like the severity of their quote unquote crime.
Yeah.
Okay, someone's DDoSing, that's probably like what, one of the worst things you can do? Or
I mean, it's a federal crime,
that's
right?
That's what I'm saying. That's probably one of the worst things you could do. Well, no, it's the worst thing you could do, but is it the worst thing that you could have done to you? Because I could think of worse things that could be done to you in game than getting DDoSed. What if somebody hacked your account and like deleted your whole vault?
I like the way they have it now. They have a user agreement. If you break the user agreement, you third-party software, you get banned. That's
I agree.
You know, I feel like if you put lines of gray somewhere, then it gets too complicated.
I agree.
And right now, cheating is a problem that's very, you know, it's very top priority in the community right now, even if it isn't common.
Prevalent.
Relevant.
Prevalent.
Provolone.
Prevalent.
Very provolone.
So yeah, I think it's good the way that they're handling it.
I agree. I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah. No, it's interesting to think about.
I think it's good. I just have a blanket.
I like
clause that says, yeah, blankies are nice. Yo, real talk. The key to a successful relationship. We have a king size bed. First of all, king size bed, but no, you have your own blankets, so you don't have to worry about hogging or like being like, you know, when you're kind of new into the relationship and you don't want to be a dick and like yank the blanket off the other, or do that like alligator roll thing that people do when they get a hold of like the piece of the blanket. Like,
I don't give a shit, man. If I'm cold, I'm taking that blanket.
I
Why
know.
don't you just have a gigantic fluffy blanket like your pancakes, Wilson? Like, you know,
motherfucking pancakes. Not my pancakes. They're Sam's. Sam makes them. I just indulge. I just reap the benefits.
One other cool thing with the 12, we already mentioned the games done quick thing, but also charity related. They're giving away, or not giving away, but they're putting up on the Bungie store soon the Starlight Starbright emblem and t-shirt to help the fires in Australia. And I thought that was pretty awesome the way they're going about it. And especially with a dope emblem like that, you know, that looks really awesome, enticing players to get it. It's cool they did something in game to help provide relief where it's needed.
Let's take a moment. If we have any Australian listeners, our thoughts go out to you guys. I hope you guys get that situation under control and everybody's okay.
Insane, man.
Yeah, it's really heartbreaking to see all that going on.
Have you seen some of the like before and after pictures? There was one I saw that was just this really long winding road, and it was just on both sides. It almost just looked like carpet. It was trees, but it was just full green. And then that was like a year ago, and then now it was just barren dirt and wood, and it was like, Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry to make it sad, cast, but like the saddest thing I saw was just a straight up wild freaking kangaroo walk up to a guy because he had a cup of water because it was so thirsty. Like how thirsty you gotta be as a kangaroo. It's pretty small too, to like walk up to a person whom they normally are like, fuck that, when they see you coming. Like, you know, like,
I mean, to be fair, those two deer in the hood just walked right up to me.
Yo, that's because they're hood deer. They don't give a fuck. They've seen a thing or two, man. They're like, yo, they're probably coming. They're probably coming to take you.
Yeah, dude, they're watching you.
But where were they thinking to take me? They were going to take me with that possum. That possum.
No,
they
were gonna jack you.
The possum,
like the kingpin.
No, like, I think he was like the scout. They sent him out to scout, and he picked me, and then they came to get me.
I'm saying, dude, you were fitting to get mugged by some straight up deer.
Like that movie Mamma Mia. That's the plot of that, right? Like
getting mugged by deer.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta check out this movie then. Holy shit.
I mean, you could have at least went with a movie like, what was that one? The Killing of a Sacred Deer or something?
Did you see that movie?
Deer Hunter?
Weird. It's low on the list. It's low on the list. The Lighthouse, though, we watched that the other night. And dude, if you want to see some awesome pirate acting by William Dafoe, it's pretty great.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I bet, dude. William Dafoe's amazing.
His name's Willem.
William.
It's not William.
I know it's not. I don't give a fuck, but that's what I call him.
He goes on a seaman monologue. Yeah, like a huge like sailor curse on Robert Pattinson at one point, and he's like got this like gruffly like pirate voice, and it's like a full like 10 sentences long of him just cursing Robert Pattinson, and it's
favorite Willem Dafoe movie.
Boondock Saints.
It's a good one.
Might be this one, honestly.
Platoon was one of the first movies I remember watching. I was like 5. I watched it with my parents. So it's literally one of the first movies I can remember watching. Fucking Platoon. So it's a great movie. Willem Dafoe, fantastic.
Speaking of movies, who do you think Christian Bale's gonna play in Thor 4 or Lego?
Is that happening? Like, is that just speculation? It's just speculation.
He's
right?
in talks with Marvel.
Here's the deal. I don't know the comics well enough to even speculate. Like, it's like I know the movies, and when a new movie's coming out, I'll do research on it and kind of get a grasp for it.
I mean, it's the 4th Thor movie, so you should have already done some Thor research.
I have, but only relevant to the movies that have been released. I can't think of... Well, people were talking about him playing the... Was it cyborg or clone version of Thor? What was that?
Beta Ray Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a horse.
Guy. No, then not that guy.
Yeah, no, it's Beta Ray Bill. He looks...
No, I'm talking...
Okay.
I'm talking about the Thor that they like Tony or somebody rebuilt. Maybe it was Fantastic Four guys like built him
I've never seen that.
After Thor died in the comics. I don't know.
Nope.
That's what I was thinking.
Nope.
That's all I got.
Wow. Wilson, you're muted. Wilson, you're still muted.
Am I still muted, man?
No, now you're not.
All right, cool. They're at the final part of the Last Wish raid on Games Done Quick.
Oh, nice.
28 minutes in, 29.
Wow.
Killing it.
Killing it. They don't even have all the buffs that we used to have, you know? Oh, did you see somebody, one of the videos this week is somebody soloed that, the dungeon, the new dungeon?
That was me.
Was Hove. I was there. I mean, I wasn't there because he soloed it, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like we lost you again. That's why we talked.
Yeah, I know. 2 sidearms and a sword. It was pretty crazy.
I just want to say, not that I'm like, hey, let's be done, but if we don't have too much more, it wouldn't be bad to send to go over to Games Done Quick. I'm just saying. It just seems like a relevant time.
I think this is a good time actually, because we covered everything. We don't really have anything else. So yeah, maybe we'll do that About Us episode soon. This has been RezoCast episode 166. Thanks for joining us. If you liked hanging out with us and want to hang out with us some more, join the Discord description. The link is in the description. If you like what you're hearing from us, you can check out Blue Mike at bluemic.com. Use code RezoCast for 20% off. This has been Lego, aka Legoli Flash. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube at LegoLEFlash. Hove, where can they find you?
Being really confused because Wilson is talking to himself in chat. You can find me on Twitter at Hove76. Here on Twitch every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, doing this show at twitch.tv/Hove76, and I guess on YouTube once in a while. Also, just search Hove76. Thanks, Wilson.
1,000 voices just dropped. I'm sorry. Another one just dropped. What, holy crap, dude. Are you serious? This is amazing. All right. This is so cool. I'm sorry. At Ryu Wilson on Twitter. I've been doing a lot. Hit me up on Twitter if you like Pokemon. I got a shiny Charizard Gmax raid. Hit me up. Hit me up.
Until next time, y'all. GG.
Y'all.
Peace.